of good roads, lack of access to decent health care, lack of access to decent schools, accommodation, job security, food security, all of these things come into, describe what poverty is. Poverty also becomes the issue of those who deny access to other people to things that would probably have changed their situation. Poverty may have to do with a state of mind, a way of looking at things, an attitude towards life. Taking extra money for either to render a service or to taking something which is not yours because you need it, in which case it's stealing. But most forms of corruption is like people asking for some kickback or something for services that they render. They need an extra dollar, they need an extra money. So there's this thing inside man, if you want, of never being happy or satisfied with whatever one has. The one thing in every person is this aspiration to rise higher and to be more than what one is. Bribery and corruption are triggered off to a large extent by the need for extra buck to make ends meet. The wealth of the people is very low. So if the policeman feels like asking for extra whatever from a driver who is driving without proper lights, the policeman may take whatever he takes because he's an extra income, and the extra income because the salary is poor. Salary is poor because the government cannot afford to pay the better. The government cannot afford to pay any better because the income net or the income base of the government itself is very low. There's a big talk now about even moving away from presenting AIDS as a solution to poverty, and there's more encouragement, to talk about better trade, terms and concessions. It's like enabling the people themselves to have access to wealth, okay, by way of dealing with poverty instead of somebody bringing aid or bringing, like an infusion of support or something from the outside. One can really and seriously ask oneself whether people really want to see poverty disappear in this world, and whether, for that matter, poverty is not becoming a business in itself for some people. Everybody is trying to do something. Everybody is certainly trying to do something. Habitat International will go around trying to do houses for people. Plan International will go around trying to do schools so kids and children can go to school. So every group identifies a sector or an area of this problem, tries to deal with it. But cumulatively, what are we working on? What are we working on? What are we trying to achieve? For example, huge sums of money are voted to help deal with poverty in a place. The question that must follow is, what is this money meant to be spent on by way of dealing with poverty? We thank all the NGOs who commend their efforts and all of that. But at the end of the day, if the question is, they're doing all of this and yet poverty prevails, then it just means that there's probably something that we're not doing right. Either we're failing to appreciate the points of view of the people we're trying to help, okay, and probably their own point of view is never taken into consideration. And that just means that outsiders evaluate a situation, consider it, and then put a label on it, and then formulate a panacea, a solution for it, and go to apply. Probably all of this is telling us that is not quite the case, and probably we need to do a paradigm shift in the way that we prescribe aid, administer it, and how all of that is executed. Can Africa excel? Why not? Why not? Why is it not doing it now? Several factors. Africa probably is struggling with whatever, with the invention and development and all of that because it does also not have the technological base. It's not have the technological base. We have a situation where it is possible for people in Africa to look outside and see a solution to a problem that they have. We're not getting creative. We're not getting technologically inventive. We're not doing things to solve our own problems. So we become more and more a buying population rather than a producing population. Now, when you are a buying population, then it just means that you spend money. You don't make the money, you spend the money. Now, since you are a money spender and not a money maker, you are a money spender, and you still have a lot of needs you need to spend money on, and not being a money maker, you are always in short supply of money. And because you're always in short supply of money, you're always looking for additional sources of money. That's what, in my opinion, breeds corruption. I think that things can begin to change if African nations begin to become money-making nations and not simply money-spending nations. There's a big difference between those. How many chocolate factories are in Ghana? Okay? Ghana produces gold. How many goldsmiths or gold processing factories are in Ghana? We need a government who would make the establishment of industries and factories its biggest priority. These, however, cost money. They cost huge capital input, capital outlay to begin any of this. And then again, you may have a government who may consider the development of industries and factories as a priority by way of, establishing some money-making, wealth-making facility in its country. But wherewithal to invest in that is not there. The key to changing the world lies in our hands. It lies in our hands to the extent that we get serious with it. Wealth creation must become a big priority of African leaders and African states. Wealth creation in the sense of encouraging productivity at home, either on the farm, in the factory, in the industry, whatever. But we need to make money to be able to spend money. Africans must solve their own problem. The development of Africa lies in the hands of Africa. They have to take the initiative and they have to be the ones to deal with it. Outsiders, they can help, establish some kind of partnership and all of that. But that thing has to be done by Africans themselves. We need people, who with passion, deal with this type of issue and so embrace a commitment to want to see things done differently. This has got to be a group of people or people who must be ready for a lot of sacrifice. And because everybody comes and is there for 4 years or whatever, constitutionally for so very many number of years, and they're thinking about a campaign. You get elected, you come in first year trying to find your feet. Second year you try to do something. Third year do something. Fourth year you're already, so 2 years of whatever. Therefore, leadership again means what? It just means that in a case where there are a lot of parties, they could still accept to create some untouchable think tank who should be the policy formulators and policy whatever, who will not be touched by change of government. They'll be the ones to maintain the focus for the development of the country or development of the place, regardless of government change. So they will be the group that will not be kind of thrown on the street when one government comes and put another group together, only to be thrown out again when another one comes. It would mean that all the parties would have to accept and see the need for such a permanent vision-setting body to direct the things that they are short-term in government cannot allow them to do. And probably with such a body formulating things like that, we'll be able to make a headway. But a really visionary type of leadership is probably one of the big things that can help us. We used to sing a song about Ghana, Guinea, Mali, because it was an alliance between these leaders in those days. They had a vision under which they wanted to do something. Unfortunately, most of them were taken out by coup d'etats. Who engineered the coup d'etats? Somebody who didn't want to see this succeed. That's also something that we should recognize. Somebody is interested in see Africa just become the market that it is and stay that way. Okay, we should recognize that kind of interest also. Ghana certainly is not the worst, if you want, African country, on the scale of development. But Ghana can also do a lot better. Enjoying the political stability that we have in Ghana, we have everything, to make us excel and do well. And I would encourage only one thing. The political stability, if that would also lead to a certain amount of, a program of creating a decent, productive base. then it will, I'll see Ghana flourishing and prospering in a lot of ways. Invest a lot more in factories and industries that would get employment to people, put wealth in the hands of people, and enable people to also contribute and honor their own social and civic responsibilities.